Comedy has changed a lot from the early days of TV. I think maybe it's because we live longer these days, and writers who grew up in dysfunctional families finally realized they could go ahead and make fun of their relatives as long as they outlived them. Before we begin our discussion of modern comedies on the list, here's a look at a few of them. You just saw our next panelist's work in one of those clips. Steve Levitan may go down in history as the only former TV anchor from Madison, Wisconsin to win 7 Emmy Awards, 5 Writers Guild Awards, 2 Humanitas Prizes, a Peabody Award, and a Comedy Writer of the Year Award. As a writer for Frasier and The Larry Sanders Show and a co-creator of Modern Family, he's the only person on our list who can seamlessly turn the conversation to weather and sports. Joining our comedy panel, Steve Levitan.
Thanks for warming up the audience, everybody.
So, Steve, you have created literally the great Modern Family. What were you trying to say with the show, or is it just autobiography?
Well, it is a lot of autobiography. I think we were just, we were desperately searching for something new to do. Chris Lloyd and myself, by the way. And we started, we were sitting around talking, and everything we kept coming back to, all our ideas stink, and the best things we were talking about were the things that were happening at our house. The fights between, our kids and things we were wrestling with at school. So it all just kept coming back to that, and, write what you know at the end of the day.
Here's another question. Do you think that Modern Family has changed America's view on gay marriage, or does it reflect it?
I think it's, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I think it's, I hope it's helping in some families. We hear a lot of anecdotes, which is really nice. We hear from, especially gay teens, who will say, it was absolutely taboo. I felt very unsafe in my own home. And then I would see my parents, we would sit around and watch Modern Family, and my parents would laugh with Mitch and Cam, and suddenly they would remark about how much they loved Mitch and Cam, and suddenly they felt safe having that discussion, and it led to them coming out. So that's been very, very rewarding for us. Beyond that, if it's changing a few minds, that would be wonderful. I think that it would be as somebody said, Norman, or somebody said earlier, it would be a gigantic mistake for us to start with an agenda, because then we would accomplish nothing. So it's always been, let's just try to make people laugh. Let's try to get people to love Mitch and Cam and identify with them, and then hopefully the rest takes care of itself.
All right, here's a sort of a big question that I'd throw open to anyone who cares to answer it. How do you think what is funny on TV has changed over the years? Anyone got an opinion on that? Too big? Too big of a question. In my mind, I always thought that maybe there was a line drawn right when Saturday Night Live started. That was the baby boomer voice entered and changed things. Anyone? I ask the questions and I answer them.
I remember, I've told this story, but I was working on a show called Wings many, many years ago, and I remember very distinctly that I'd heard amazing things about an episode of Seinfeld, and we were trying to break this story about one of the characters, Joe, on Wings, and he had a blankie, and he wouldn't fly without his blankie, or something like that. And we had heard that there was an episode of Seinfeld the night before that was on, and we all decided to watch it during dinner, and it was the contest, the masturbation episode. And we watched it during dinner, and we all wanted to kill ourselves because we felt like that at that moment TV had changed. We felt like we were suddenly, like radio writers, and TV was there. So I remember, for me, that was a turning point. I mean, I remember like the landscape changed drastically with Seinfeld.
I'm sitting here reading all these cards. I've got a million questions to ask everybody, and I know we're running low on time. Vince, here's a question for you. Is Larry David the comedy version of Walter White?
We had this screening of our. I've never actually met Larry David, although he sat at a screening of Breaking Bad, like 2 seats away from me. This was like a couple weeks ago. Conan O'Brien was hosting it, and Larry David, I did not realize liked our show, and it was like I was so over the moon to hear that. And then I heard him say to one of our AMC publicity people as the lights were coming up, he says, "I thought I was going to see a new episode. Why are you showing like the last episode of last season? What do you?" Hell with it. I was very honored to hear he likes the show, though.
There's a lot of comedy in Breaking Bad, or am I just laughing at all the wrong stuff?
No, there is intentionally a lot of comedy. All joking aside, in Breaking Bad, I learned that lesson a long time ago. You want to do a show with all the weighty stuff, all the dramatic moments. You damn well better leaven it with as much humor as you can legitimately put into it. You don't want to sort of do the. Actually, I like Hogan's Heroes, but you don't want to do the Hogan's Heroes version of the concentration camp. But on the other, that was actually a prisoner of war camp. But you get the point. But at any rate, if we can leaven Breaking Bad with as much humor as we can fit into it, just so long as the humor is earned and legitimately derives from the characters and the situation that they're in, then I'm all for it. We put it in, we squeeze it in there every chance we get, and indeed, we try to make it a very funny show when that is appropriate.
Winnie, there's a lot of humor in My So-Called Life. Would you call it a comedy?
I would not, but I would call it that I would personally want to kill myself if I was writing anything that wasn't entertaining. First of all, I mean, I couldn't live with what's the point? I mean, I've never understood that word dramedy, because I thought, what are you talking about? I mean, if you're going to write a drama, of course you're going to have tons of comedy. You have to, because that's what opens the heart, and then the drama sort of is the 1-2 punch, And also, I actually started in comedy. I mean, I was in a comedy group when I was very young, so it's kind of my natural. Not tonight, obviously, but it's sort of my natural way. Once a year, I get really funny.
Jim, question for you. How do you think the Mary Tyler Moore Show would be different if you created it now? Would it be closer to Sex and the City or Girls?
I can't think that way. I don't know how to answer it. It was very much of its time. I mean, the revolution was happening all around us. It gave us a lot of story material. It was great that we were in lockstep with our time. Sorry.
Do you think just in general there's more of a need on TV to avoid controversy now, like the way that they won't let you mention abortion, especially in a network? But at the same time, you've got Sarah Silverman on in her own venue saying anything she wants. What exactly is going on, do you think?
I think all bets are off. I think the walls are down. I don't agree with the premise. I think, I don't think anybody differentiates where they are on the dial, and I think you can find barriers broken any place.
All right. How are we for?
Say something I can agree with.
Anyone else have anything to say about television in general before we look at the top 10?
I really like it.
Watch it now. It's not going to be around much longer, I don't think. All right, well then I guess we'll go to our top 10.
Okay,
Now
it was
I'd like-
just as I suspected, the ones with the biggest staffs.
I guess we're going to bring up Mr. Rodman now to conclude the show.
I'd like very much to thank our panel. If there's a more insightful, articulate, or funnier conversation happening in Los Angeles this evening, no, there isn't. So, you couldn't pay to hear a conversation like this, and you didn't. I'd particularly like to thank
Thanks to your hostess.
absolutely our host, Merrill Markoe. Yes, please stand up.
Wow! Thank you.
No one else could have done the job she did tonight.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
On behalf of WGA President Chris Kaiser, on behalf of the Writers Guild of America's West and East, on behalf of TV Guide, I'd like to thank you all for coming. And will those people who are here stay here? Will the other creators of the 101 Best Written TV series please come up for a group photo? And then I would like to ask the rest of the people in the room, the writers who are associated with those series and the actors, some of whom are here who are associated with those series, to wait a moment for that photo and then come and we'll have an even bigger group photo. Thank you all for coming tonight. It's been an honor, it's been a pleasure, and thanks.